In this lesson, we're going to be working with the CSS, and we're going to only be using the HTML file to refer to different areas of content. So our first main area of content is going to be our body, of course, and we're going to work on that throughout the course, but we're going to work on the class wrapper. So this is what's wrapping around our content, and in order to access class information, we do a dot and then the class name. So for tags, we just do the tag name itself, and then for IDs, we do the hash and then the ID name. And that's how we access content areas from the HTML document using CSS. So now we're just doing wrapper, and with the wrapper, what I wanted to do is I wanted to set a maximum width, and I also want to center that content. So if you are doing, because this is going to be a responsive website, we can set a maximum width of 1100 pixels. Just show you what this is going to look like. So now when I refresh the website, we see that our wrapper is only going up to a certain width size. So maybe I can do a background color, or I can do a border, so we can better see where the breakpoints are for this. So we'll just do a quick border around it, and we're probably going to remove this later on. So this is just so we can see where that wrapper container sits. And we notice one thing with this wrapper container is that it's being pulled over to the left hand side. So when we get to a really big screen, then it doesn't really look that nice, unless you actually in your design you want to pull it over to the left hand side. So I don't want to actually have it pulled over to the left hand side, and I want it to actually move to the center. So centering it is really straightforward with CSS, and it's just matter setting the margins, and we just set margins to 0. So top and bottom is to 0, and we're going to set the left and right margins to auto. And we see when we add in that set of properties to the CSS, we get it centered right away. So it just dropped it right into the center there. And next, we need to look at just all of the different sections. So we do have two different areas where we've got content within this main area. So we've got first and we've got second. So let's identify those and add some styling to those. So the first section, and maybe do a background color because we want to make our website really nice and colorful. So the first section that we're going to be accessing, maybe we want to have background color. So we want to stick to grayscale. When we're unsure about colors and we're building out our website, it's always a good idea to stick to grayscale colors. So I'm going to just do first, and then this one I'm going to do second. So this is that second section in the main container, and maybe this one is going to stay as white. So I'm just going to indicate it as white. And with CSS, there's a number of different ways to add in color. So here we're just doing the short form for the hexa. So typically the hex for white would be FFFFF, so 6 characters there, but you can also do these short forms of it. You can also do these named colors, so I can do white. We see that brackets is actually giving me some suggestions here for some named colors as well. So when I'm typing that out, that's where you see this drop down here. So as soon as I do this colon, brackets gives me this drop down of all these named colors, so which is really handy when you're developing, and if you want to be able to pick out these named colors, this is a really kind of nice way to do it. So I'm going to just set this back to white. Our second section is white, and we're going to add in some padding because we see that when we look at the text there, it's right up to the edge, and we don't generally want to have it that way. We want to set some padding there, and of course we can do it in several different ways. We can add padding to that main area, so maybe we want to do that, or we want to add it into each different section. So again, depending on how your design looks, you can add that padding in either one. So padding, we're just going to do a little bit of padding of 5 pixels. And we see that that bumps it in, all of the content in a little bit more. And because we are adding in a color, we can see that this is the size of that section. And because we're doing it that way, that we need to add in padding actually directly into that first area, and then also we need to add it into the second area. And that's because we have that background color, and we're actually able to tell where the edge of that content is, where that container is. And now let's just add in some width. So we want to keep this width at 100%, because we want to always make sure that it's taking up that full available spacing. So that really didn't really do anything that we can noticeably see, but it is allowing us to indicate that this main container is taking up the full 100%. And we're going to make an adjustment on that, because when we have our full size menu, then we want to bring our navigation there to the left hand side. So in the next lesson, let's work on our navigation. We're going to get rid of this unordered list styling and actually make it look more like a navigation menu. So that's coming up in the next lesson.